like a media news type thing inside the school, where should they begin to look and start, pulling that together?
I would start just like a blog kind of. Um, so a blog and a YouTube page for the students. And, nowadays you really don't need too much equipment because everybody does it from their phone for the most part. So you don't really need, I mean, I have a little ring light here from Amazon, there was a couple bucks. So you don't need a whole lot. You get a little stand, for the phone or the computer. And I would just start putting together a blog for the school, and as you can do assignments, put assign beats, if there's a student who like.
Oh,
Okay, I have I have a question here. So
Or
I
who
do
likes
have
for, sports or entertainment, and maybe they rotate so they can all learn how to cover different things, and then you can get graphics and pretty much everything just from things from your phone now. So that's what I would do, because that really doesn't cost anything at all. YouTube is free, the blog is free, and just kind of put together a curriculum that teaches writing, and because writing is really the biggest part of working in this business. Anyway, still to this day, I write every day. And that was something that my professors in college drilled into me a lot, that I needed to be able to write. And I was, I disagreed, but I was wrong. You really need to be a good writer. So, writing, and then also doing, short videos. Maybe they do a blog and then do a short, 30-second video explaining the story. And, that's a lot of what
Yes, Benjamin.
we all do now.
Yeah, we just got back on
in the professional space. So
because it timed out.
that's what I would do.
Hold on.
oh. Yeah, Mr. Washington, go ahead. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm gonna ask a brief question before I pass it
ahead,
to the South Shore International Honor Roll Senior Basketball
Yeah,
Star.
I'm done.
Hold on one
Yeah,
moment.
that was pretty.
Hello.
Mhm.
Okay, I can hear. Sorry about that.
Okay.
How do you see and a lot of our high school students definitely want to know, how do you see news and sports reporting change in the short term and long term in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, short term, I think we're gonna still find new ways to cover things and not being there. Slowly, more and more media are allowed to go to things now, and they're allowing more people in arenas and things like that. But it had been a bit of a struggle to kind of, be able to cover events when they first came back, because a lot of reporters couldn't go. So, you're doing interviews after games on Zoom, which, has its challenges. So in the short term, they're going to keep finding ways to do things remotely. But long term, I think something that's changed is a lot of this. Normally I wouldn't really be able to join you guys or talk to you guys unless I was there with you. But now we have the capability of people from all over the world talking together and being able to do interviews. We never used to do interviews on the show unless you were on the set in LA with us.
Yeah, because I believe the only in-person guest that y'all have had on the herd is Colorado Buffalo legend Joel Klatt.
Yeah, because
But other
Joel
than
is
that,
here in LA
yeah.
and he works for Fox. So we have a lot of COVID protocols. We have to get tested. I get tested 3 days a week. And we have COVID protocols to come into studio, to come onto the lot. So you can't really just like fly in and come in.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't want to travel right now either. So it's not as simple as like, oh, so-and-so's in Hollywood, go pick a car, go in a car for them, bring them in. You can't do that. So a lot of people, all of our guests pretty much are people who are either already on the lot or are someone like Joel, and the rest are all digital. But because we've had to do them digital and because the quality has been so good, we'll keep doing that even after COVID, because it's better to do in-person interviews. It's more personal, you get better interviews, but we don't have to do that now. So we can do interviews with people from all over the world and anywhere they are. You can do them in their car. I mean, we've had guys who have like walked out of practice and done them in their car.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
it's totally fine. So that part has changed dramatic, and a lot of people will work from home now. We all have home studio setups, so you don't have to necessarily travel to the studio to do your hits anymore. So unless you're doing like a week of shows, you don't need to travel. So that will stay the same, because it was really more for the audience. Like, is the audience going to like seeing people from home?
Yeah.
And now, because we've had to do it for a year, everyone's used to it. It doesn't look weird. It doesn't sound weird. As long as, the audio is good, really, even if the video isn't great, audiences don't really care anymore. So that saves networks a lot of money. It saves people a lot of time because they can do multiple shows on the same day because they're not traveling. So that part has changed forever, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. South Shore International, where you at? Jump right in.
Okay, so my last question would be, so I understand that you have a regular voice that you talk to your family with and us with, and what is your radio voice? If you have one, could you actually do it?
I wouldn't say I have a radio voice, but I think when you are, I think when you're on camera, you have to project a little bit. So when I first started in the business, people would tell me that you need to, well, not in the business, but on television, that you need to have, you need to be more excited, like have more energy. And I would always be like, I'm fine. This is who I am. I'm fine. This is how I talk. And they're like, no, like the camera kind of takes away a little bit of your energy. Like it kind of zaps you. It's a weird thing. So for me, like when I'm not talking, I look kind of mean. So I'm like I look mean. Just that's naturally what my resting face looks like. So I have to think like in my mind, smile a little bit. So like even when I get on Zooms, I'm like, but I'm not listening. I'm not engaged. It's just literally what my face looks like when it's resting. So I have to consciously think like smile a little bit, so that you can see it. If you were in the room with me, you would know I'm not unhappy, but you can't see that. So smile a little bit. And then, when the camera comes on, you just have to kind of project a little bit. So it's not like I don't change my voice, but I do bring up the energy a little bit. Because the camera in a weird way kind of takes you down a little bit. So if you talk normal, it's going to seem like you're maybe a little tired or you're not, like you're not engaged. So I wouldn't say that I changed my voice, but I just kind of up my energy a lot once the camera comes on. So it's most of the time Colin and I don't talk in the breaks. Like every once in a while, like a couple of breaks here and there, we'll talk about like what we had for dinner last night or something like that. But we're not talking to each other usually in the breaks because you're so much energy. And then like we go to break and it's kind of like just kind of rest a little bit. And it's not entirely the same when it's just radio. It's similar, but on radio, it's like, you don't have to sit up straight and, make sure your shoulders are back and you're smiling and then you're talking, no one sees you. So you can kind of hang a little bit while still having energy, but it's not like when you're on camera, it's like, it's that, like, I can't lean like this and talk to Colin. I got to sit up straight. I got to, do this. And then like the camera's this way. So I got to make sure I'm looking at this camera. So it's like, it's a lot that's going on once the camera's on. Yeah. So I probably sound a little different, but it's just because I'm like upping the energy, but I don't really like try to change my voice or anything.
And the last question that we have is, what is it like to work with Colin Cowherd? Your on-air chemistry as we see it here in Chicago, you have such a huge fan base here in Chicago with the show, The Herd. What your on-air chemistry is phenomenal. So what is it like working with Colin, your work husband?
Colin is great. Colin is a very hard worker. He cares a lot about doing a really good show. Not that I haven't really worked with anybody who isn't a hard worker, but Colin is very unique because everybody preps for shows differently. Some people like to, you know, they don't want to talk about anything that they're going to talk about on air. They just want to get stats and information, and then they want to save everything they're going to say for on air. They still study a lot, but they don't talk about it beforehand. Colin likes to talk everything through before the show. That's why our prep call is so long, because he wants to really know exactly what it is he wants to say on the show. So he really cares about doing a good show, about picking topics that people are interested in all over the country, because we do a national show, not just necessarily things that he or I might be really interested in, but like what everybody's interested in. And he's just a great person. He's a good family person. He loves just like having chicken parm with his wife and hanging with his kids and his dogs. And he's just like a really chill, very relaxed, but super professional person. He's been amazing to work with, and he's been a big ally and advocate for me, and a great mentor. So it's been a great experience working with him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I want to definitely thank King College Prep, South Shore International College Prep, John W. Cook Academy in the heart of the South Side of Chicago, as well as HBCU's, University of Arkansas, PINE-BLUFF, for joining us today. SCJR Educational Initiative. A special thank you to Mr. Washington over at King College Prep. Professor Washington, final word. Oh, you got to unmute, Mr. Washington.
Thanks again for giving us this opportunity. And once you come to Chicago, please stop by King College High School and talk to our journalism club. We would love it there.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so nice to meet all of you and talk to all of you. And yes, I was in Chicago last year for NBA All-Star, but it was just for a night. So I'm gonna have to come to Chicago when it's a little bit warmer.
Yeah, because I remember All-Star last year, like that Friday, Saturday and Sunday, across the board, it was like 5 degrees on Friday, 6 degrees on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm not built like that anymore. You know, I'm from Pittsburgh.
We were there. You know, I'm the band director. I'm the director of bands at King College Prep High School. So the band, we played the halftime with Chance the Rapper at the NBA All-Star game.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. They did a great job with All-Star that year. I thought they represented Chicago well. Yeah, I will definitely come by. I hopefully this summer, hopefully this year, you know, COVID clears up a little bit. I'm gonna get to traveling, so I'll definitely swing by and see you guys. But thank you for having me. If you have any questions about the journalism club, Stanley has my email, so you can, you know, feel free to pass that along, and I'll be happy to help you with that.
Thank you.
Definitely. Last thing, how are the restrictions in LA? I know Governor Newsom, how and Mayor Garcetti, how is the COVID-19 restrictions in LA?
It's a little bit better now. We just kind of recently got some restrictions lifted, so gyms are open now. Everything is still limited capacity, but gyms are open, and salons, and a little bit of indoor dining. We had outdoor dining closed for everything was closed for 3 months when we shut down in the winter. But we had outdoor dining for a couple months now, and then they just opened indoor dining. So everything is kind of slowly starting to open. They're opening the theme parks, I think, in April. Again, limited capacity, but you know, we're the last ones because we were the worst through the winter.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it's been crazy. It's been a crazy year, but
oh boy,
you know.
Yeah.
It's still California. The sun is still shining, and we'll make it through.
Absolutely, definitely.
It's been definitely crazy.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I know you got to get to sleep because you work around the clock and getting ready for tomorrow's show. So for you to take time out of your busy schedule is, like I said before, is extremely humbling. We'll be tuning in tomorrow, and we'll email you additional questions from the students pertaining the journalism program and any college readiness advice transitioning from being a high school senior to a college freshman. So thank you so very much, and go Dolphins.
Thank you guys so much for having me. Yeah, if the kids have any questions, they can email me anytime. And Mr. Washington, if you have any questions about the journalism club, definitely let me know. But thank you so much for having me. And
I'll send you that video within the next half an hour.
Yeah, because I have to share the band. That was so nice. That was such a nice surprise. I'm gonna post it on my social media. So thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too. Bye. Thank you.